Hey everyone, so this is the next video in the WireMock tutorial. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the stateful behavior of the WireMock. What is the use case of this stateful behavior and what is the need for this one? Let me explain you the use case first, then we will see how we can do that with the WireMock. Yeah, for this demo, I'm going to talk about a new API that is cart, like shopping cart, right? So you have a cart, you are doing online shopping on any website, Flipkart or Amazon or anything. So initially when you select your cart section, so it shows empty, right? There are no items in your cart, right? So there is first this is the endpoint that you call when first time you are calling it, it should show an empty, right? And then you add some item, right? So you add some item, for example you are adding to books, and you then again call this item. Then in that case your basket, your cart should show the book in your cart, right? So there is like this is the get endpoint, and second point is the add one, and again at third place we are calling this one, right? And if doing the shopping I changed my mind and I want to remove this item book, right? So I have removed it. So I have one more endpoint for the delete part to delete the item from the cart, right? So again I hit this get endpoint, I should get the empty items, right? So I have to write the request and response for all of these endpoints that I have just explained. So let me go ahead and show you. So I have two options. First, for example, I want to run the standalone WireMock server and I want to keep the mappings like JSON files. That is very easy to do. So I'm just going to explain that the JSON part, and then I'll explain you how you can do that in JVM, like Java. If you want to write the same thing in Java code, how you can do that, right? So but I suggest that JSON part is extremely easy part. You just create a JSON file and put that in mapping folder. Your system is going to pick that automatically, whether you are running on a standalone server or you are running it as a JVM library. It is going to help in both the cases, right? So I have already prepared few JSON files, few mappings for this one. Let me show you that. So here is this WireMock standalone folder. If you remember the WireMock standalone demo that I have explained in the previous video, in one of the previous videos. So I used this folder WireMock standalone and executed this, and mappings was the one folder where we were keeping all the mappings, right? So here I have kept all the mappings, right? So let me open these one, and we'll explain you each thing one by one. So first, empty cart comes into picture, right? So the endpoint for this is cart items, right? And request path is this one, and when I hit this one cart items get, I'll get the empty response, right? And this is the add to cart. So I'm adding few items into the cart. So when I call this same endpoint with the post method, it should be this book should be added into the cart, right? So when I again go and execute this cart items here, I should get the book added into the cart in the response, right? So here is the full cart section here. So here it is the same thing. It is showing me that because this is the empty cart section, but full cart section also I have to show, because WireMock is not going to add anything by itself. I have to explain, I have to tell it that what to add. So when I hit cart items again, so the sequence is like this. First I'll my expectation is, so when you see this empty cart and full cart section, these are same. It is just that here in empty cart it has empty basket here, empty cart here, but here it has book. So my expectation is first I'll when I hit this one, I'll get empty. That's not a problem. When I add some books here by calling the post method, then when I hit this, I should get this one, right? This response. Again, for the deletion part, when I call this delete section, cart items with delete methods, it is giving me status 200. Again, when I execute this cart items with get method, I should get the empty cart, right? So these are the simple thing that I had just done. But WireMock, let's see if WireMock is going to understand it the way that I am telling it. So these are the mapping files, and I have to now start the WireMock server here. So this is the command line, and I'm just going to give it the command, right? And starting, there is nothing else I need to do. I need to give it. right? So yeah, WireMock is running now. So I have opened the postman. Actually, I have to do the get, put, post and delete request, so WireMock is best for that. So just cart items. So this is the endpoint that I'm going to hit. This is the get request, and if I send it, okay, yeah, there is some problem with this one. Yeah, this should be, yeah, now I get. So yeah, first thing, first problem is here, I didn't add anything into the book, right? Just now, this is the just server, fresh server is started. I didn't add anything, but at first point I'm getting this response that the book is already added, right? So when I go to the post request and try to give here JSON body here, if I give it the JSON body here, what happens if I give the post request, and in the post request I am giving a JSON format, whatever name, book of the name I'm giving here. So the name of the books that I'm giving here should match here, that add to cart. If the your body contains this line, only then this item is going to be executed, otherwise it is going to throw an exception. So let me show you the exception part first. So if I am not hitting this one, so see what happens, right? So 404 not found, it is exactly saying that it is this is not found, right? So actual mapping and all those stuff. So but if I change it to the previous one, I'll get the 200 response. Means whatever we wanted to add is being added to the cart. So one book was already there, I added one more, I should get two books now, right? Still it is giving me this one, right? So here is the problem. It is not able to, WireMock is not able to understand which endpoint to, like, there are two mappings for the get, same get request, right? So it is not able to identify which one to call first, because we also have not given it any flag, anything, so that it can understand that which endpoint to call first and which one to later, right? So here, to give it a to give it something to understand that which one to call first and which one to call second, there is scenario, like the name scenario comes with one. If there are different scenario, right? When you are first time hitting it, so it is the first time scenario, right? So you can just name it. And when you added a book, it, the state had changed, the scenario had changed to something else, right? And again, when you are hitting the same get endpoint, so it should understand that now the state had changed, and now I have to execute the other mapping, right? So you get the idea, right? So WireMock has to have some key or something so that it can understand that which mapping to call first when I have two same. If you remember the previous videos, if I had same mapping, so I was going to the priority section, right? So same mapping, there are two mappings for the same thing, so it was always picking the last one, whatever last one, right? So but when we gave it priority, so it picked the particular one, right? So whatever priority decided. In the same way here, to make it stateful, there is state concept of scenario, right? So let me go ahead, and one more thing. So let me show you that when it has both the endpoints, how it is understanding that which how it is showing me book in the card. So why it is not showing me the empty section, right? So here, so when you come here in mapping section here, so it has full cart and empty cart. So it goes alphabetically, right? So this is my guess, I think, because I tried to test it, that I change the name, and if I give it the name something which is letter in alphabet, like if I give it xy which is after f, so I'll see the empty section. So it goes alphabetically, right? The same way I guess it works. So it is the that I felt, right? So I have not read it in documentation, but I assumed it, and then I experimented it, and my assumption was correct, right? So you go ahead and try your own way. Now let me go ahead and add those key points of where it is going to understand that which one to call first, right? The key point for that is the key for that is scenario name, right? So I have to specify some scenario name which by which it is going to identify, right? So here we are shopping book, so I'm just going to name it book shopping, right? So book shopping, I'm just giving it the name, scenario name. And here I have, and this is the key point, book shopping is the name of the scenario, which is the key for the WireMock. Second point for that is scenario state required scenario state. So by default it is by default WireMock checks WireMock gives this scenario state to started, right? So if I give the name started, right, so by default it is going to keep the name started. And it is going to, when it is started means it is the first time this endpoint is being called. So when you have this started state as started, requires when you have required scenario state as started, this and you hit this cart items, it is going to give you this cart, like empty cart, right? So I can now save this one. By default it is going to pick this required scenario state as started, right? So now I have to throughout all the endpoints I am going to have the same scenario, but this scenario state will change, right? So here when I am hitting this endpoint, I am expecting that required, when required scenario state is started, I'll WireMock will give me this result, right? And when I'm adding the book, I have to change this state, right? So let me go ahead and do that. So when add to endpoint is being called here, it scenario name is this one, and now it is going to the second key that is here, new scenario state, right? So what is the new scenario state that I want to name it? Card has books, right? So this name I can give anything, but I want to just make it relevant to the thing that we are doing. So I just have, these are the JSON format, so I just have to separate it by comma, otherwise it is going to throw an exception, right? First time we called this one, so I have scenario state as started. When I'm adding the adding something into the cart and I want to this to be executed, then I'm changing the scenario state. Now the scenario state has cart has books. Now if you hit this endpoint book shopping, right, and now you have scenario state as book cart has books, so this is not going to be executed. WireMock will look something which has state named as cart has books, right? So now I have to copy it here, and the full cart section that I have here, I have to mention it here, and add to cart section that is here, I have to mention it here. So this one, right? So now when I hit this cart items again, I'll get this endpoint here. So when I have added the books, scenario state has been changed to this one, and I have mapped to this one. Now when I'm the same thing, add to cart section to, so this is the main point to understand here. So where we are changing the state where we are needed to do that, and somewhere we are saying that it is expecting some state so that it can get, right? So it is just a get endpoint, right? So it is not doing any changes to the system, but add when it is the post or put method, it is doing some changes into the API, right? That is why I have to give it some new state so that it can be handled accordingly. The same way we have delete, it is also going to make some changes into the API, right? So then again I have to make some scenario state, right? So new scenario state. So when all the books has been deleted from the system, what is the expected status for that? So that is started. So again, when I deleted item, I'll again go back to this I'll again come back to started section here, and I will start getting the empty body. So this flow we have completed. First we have empty basket, then we are adding some item into the cart. It is just changing the state here, and this is the body patterns that I have set. So it is not that so when I get this body pattern, this will be matched this. So first criteria is still that body should contain this one, you should have this one, all those things, but and this scenario state will be changed. Now when it is changed, I'll again go and see this cart items. Now I'll see this item added into the books, right? And again coming to here the delete section, when I have deleted this, now again have scenario state change started, again I'll come back to this one. So this cycle goes on, right? So now I have make changes to the JSON file, so I have to restart the server. So let me go ahead and restart the server. So we get the not matching and all those stuffs here as well, right? So it has read now. Let me go ahead and hit this again. It is saying that request was not matched. Cart item, scenario, book shopping. Scenario, it is giving me the scenario now. Cart has books, but it is giving me that it is expecting started, requesting that we are doing started, but it has something wrong I have done here. So here for the empty cart section, we gave it at in caps, so but it is expecting it in normal case here. Just save it and restart the server. It should work now. So it's running. Now hit this again. Now, yeah, it's working now. So we are getting the empty basket here. Now go ahead and add something into the basket, right? So here body section. So we are going to add this section, right? So 200 status we got it, right? So now again go ahead and change to it to get, and now we are getting, so now we are getting the proper things, right? So the flow is complete here, right? So now if I again I want to get the empty basket again, so I just have to change the state, and to change the state I have to call the delete endpoint. If I delete this, it is deleted. Now if I get this again, it is giving all right. Yeah, so this started state is problem now, right? So I hope you have guessed the problem what is here, right? So this is the new scenario state that is being given here started, but it should be something like this one. So these are the initial states that it has to match, right? So it is in the WireMock itself. When you have any first call to the system, so it is the initial state is started, and when you are changing those state, you can change that one, anything that you want. That the same way I have done this one. So you want to add more books and other items into, you add those items, and you have to change this state respectively, so that it can understand which one to call, right? So we have changed this one as well here. So now I have to restart the server again. This is started. Let me demo you things again. So this is empty section coming. If I posting here, so this item is going to be added into the system. Yeah, get it again. I have this book added into the system, and if I delete it, it is going to be deleted. I have new state. If I proper state here, yeah, we are getting the empty basket. So one point to understand here. So if when I'm adding this, so what book I added? I'm just trying to add this pattern here, right? So this by X I am adding here, right? So but what I am getting here, it is architecture 2.3, right? So it is not that when you are posting this section at body section, the same book is being added into the system, right? So it is not like that. It is not the actual API, but the mocking API that you are telling that what to call at a specific case, right? So whatever you write here under the add card section and full card section, it is just going to take care of that. So it is like you should not understand I am adding this microservices architecture by X, but when I am accessing this full card, it is giving me 2.3. So whatever I have written here, it is going to pick that. The thing is this scenario name, right? So you just have to keep this in mind. So this is how you can prepare the JSON file, and there are other scenarios also. If you have any secured API, you want to simulate that one. So for that, any secured endpoint that you have, first time you call that without authorization, you will get error, right? And it is expected that you should get some authentication token from the service, then only you can call that. So you can just simulate that one. First call the endpoint which is unsecured, so give it some started state, and Then call the authentication state, so that you can get the token and change the scenario accordingly, and again try to hit the first endpoint. Now as the state has been changed, you will get the proper endpoint that you are calling, that is secure. So this is how you can stimulate the different scenarios using this scenario name, right? So this is very important, like, and real time scenario. Now coming to now I'll show you how you can do the same thing in the JVM, like Java code way if you want to go. So this is the WireMock documentation for the stateful behavior. So the Java part, I'm not going to write the code for that, because it is the same thing that we have done in the previous video. I'm just going to walk through this documentation, and you can do that very easily, right? So this is the demo part that they have. This is the example that the WireMock itself has given. So it's very easy to understand. So the stubbing part, 3 stubbings they have done. So it is about the to-do items. It is in the scenario to-do list, and it is the name of the scenario, and it is going to be the same for all the things, right? So with when scenario state is started, it will give the response about this buy milk, right? So items buy milk is in the to-do list, right? First call will be handled by this one. Now I have to add something in the to-do list. Stuff for post, when URL is equal to this and scenario is to-do list, and when it has post request and item to-do list, then it is in started state, right? So this started state and this started state is different, keep in mind. So this is the post request and this is the get request. And with request body cancel newspaper subscription, it is going to add this cancel newspaper subscription into the to-do list, right? So it will respond with the status 201, and it will change the state to cancel newspaper items added. So this is the new state of the same API, same endpoint, right? Now I have to specify what to return in this new state. So that is coming here. When it has state cancel newspaper item with the same scenario to-do list, it is going to give me the response with this body, buy milk and cancel newspaper subscription added. So this is the WireMock response call. So this is the just dummy call. You have to make here actual call while writing the test for your service. So assert that it contains the buy milk. It is the first call, but it is not containing the cancel newspaper subscription. At second call, it is posting some content to-do list. It is adding this cancel newspaper subscription and had changed the state to 201, and internally it had changed the state to cancel newspaper added. Now if I hit this again to do items, which I did here, it is going to give me the contains buy milk as well as cancel newspaper subscription, right? So see how easy it is to do. So equivalent of that in the JSON, it is the file that one. So in the demo, I have explained you each endpoint call in the separate file, but I can do that in the same file as well. So this is how you can do that in the same file. Delete demo is not here, but that's also easy to do. You can just add it, right? And if you want to get the all scenarios at a particular moment of time, you can get this. And these all are the scenario. If you have running standalone server, you can get this scenario as well. If you hit this one, these are the possible states, started state and my everything it will give you. It will give you the list of all the scenarios that you have and the possible states of that one. Resetting, if you want to reset all the scenario, this is how you can do that. So this is about the stateful behavior of the WireMock, which is pretty much practical to do and very real-time scenario, right? So I hope you learned and you can do it now. Still, if you have any real-time scenario, anything, you put that in comment section. I'll be happy to help you out, right? So the next video is about response templating with WireMock. So I'll explain all the use cases and all those stuff in the next video itself, right? So till then you play around and watch other videos as well. So guys, and if you like the content, please don't forget to subscribe and share it with your friends. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care. Bye bye.